Hello, and a warm welcome to our Earth Day celebration. We've got people logged in from all over the globe, so feel free to introduce yourselves to one another in the chats. We feel so grateful to be part of a global community dedicated to honoring our sacred Earth. Thank you for joining us in this effort. Today we'll be gathering as a community as well as with millions of other people who celebrate this day to honor the Earth. And together, we create a global field of upliftment. I would also like to say a big congratulations to our recent Earth Keepers Level 3 graduates. We are so honored to welcome you as Earth Keepers in service, and we know you'll do a magnificent job in the world. This year, Asil and I are deepening our connection with the Earth by journeying into the heart of Brazil's jungle during Earth Day. In the spirit of this sacred exploration, we've prepared a series of beautiful experiences, blending both pre-recorded and live elements for you to reconnect, reflect, and align with the energy of Earth Day. We have a powerful session prepared for everyone. We'll begin with a short message from Asil and the guides to set the tone and open the energetic space. Then, we're honored to share two meaningful conversations with very special guests, both modern and ancient Earth Keepers themselves. First guest is Alnoor Ladha, activist, storyteller, and co-founder of Tierra Valente in Costa Rica. His work centers on ecological healing and social transformation. Next, a conversation with Kumu Ramsey, a respected Hawaiian elder, cultural practitioner, and earth guardian, whose work is rooted in ancestral practices and a profound relationship with the earth. Then we'll take a short 10-minute break before the next part of our event, a powerful, live, guided meditation led by two of Evolution One's ambassadors. Together with the ambassadors, we're going to establish what we call an energetic container, a supportive, sacred space for you to settle into, to feel more grounded, more calm, and more deeply connected to the earth. At Evolution One, this practice is supported by what we refer to as the field. You can think of the field as an invisible but very real presence, an energy that's activated through intention, stillness, presence, and inner alignment. It helps to amplify our meditation experience. The field is not something you need to do or understand. Just know you're being held in an energetic field that many before you have nurtured and prepared. All those who have trained through our Pillars of Light and Earth Keepers programs have cultivated the ability to invite and sustain this field so that you can simply receive, breathe, and drop in. So welcome, everybody. Whether you're here to reconnect, to be inspired, or to rest, we're so glad you're joining us today. Let's begin.
Hello and good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you all for joining our Earth Day special event. Now, due to my travels, I'm pre-recording this message for our Earth Day and welcoming you nonetheless on this special day. Even though it feels a little bit absurd to be celebrating one day out of our entire year dedicated to the earth. She is us and we are her. There is no separation. Even though we have perceived it that way, the earth is an intrinsic part of life and the human experience. Without her, we wouldn't be here. And without the gifts that we receive, we couldn't live. We couldn't have this human experience. So our entire life is deeply interconnected with the earth itself, her beauty, her gifts that are constantly giving. Everything in nature is in a great and finely tuned balance. It is always moving through, transitioning, transforming, as energy does. So we receive and we return. As we come from the earth, we return back into the earth. At least our physical form, our consciousness, wherever it may be from, is also deeply connected to the consciousness of the earth. And the earth is, without a doubt, a conscious, living being. All forms of consciousness on earth are therefore intrinsically connected with the earth itself. Her well-being is our well-being, and our well-being is her well-being. If we are sick, we start to make our environment sick, and we start to impact the imbalance that we carry within ourselves, relating and transmuting it externally to an alignment, a misalignment outside of ourselves. On this day, we acknowledge the sacredness that is intrinsic to all aspects of nature. It is also intrinsic to us, yet it is covered by many different layers of conditioning and disconnection over generations. Can we take this moment of remembering to reignite that knowing within us of our connection to the earth, of the beauty of the earth, of the gifts that there are, of the equilibrium that exists on earth between all living beings, between us and the earth, between each other. How does it impact all life on earth? And what can we do that influences our decisions and choices to be more thoughtful, sustainable, and long-lasting? How are we affecting life that is coming after us, the generations to come after we are long gone? So in that vein, in that sense, we return to a moment of quiet and silence, communing with the earth, with spirit, with consciousness, expanding our state of being, connecting with the earth, and the energy that is consistently present in this human experience. Not taking anything for granted, yet receiving the present moment as a true gift. Thank you all for joining this Sacred Earth experience. We have many beautiful things prepared for you to deepen your understanding, your experience, and this connection within community together. We will also listen to what the guides have to say on this special day to give us a perspective of deeper understanding, a deeper knowing, a deeper comprehension of this experience as humans on Earth, as humans of Earth. Blessings to all of you, sending you much love wherever you are around this world, in the many far corners of this earth. Greetings. We are Elohim. In this journey of being human on earth, you will start to understand and realize what it means to be an evolving consciousness. You evolve in this human experience in this lifetime from the various ages of experience. You evolve through many lifetimes lived. You evolve through the generations that exist before and after you. In this evolutionary process, you recognize yourself as a consciousness living this physical human form, specifically designed, living on this earth. The design itself assists in understanding the deeply interconnected nature, the sustainable nature of life itself. Naturally, all processes provide for you to live this experience, no matter how long the experience itself may be. Every moment of the experience is, therefore, truly a gift. All ecosystems serve. All ecosystems and all forms of consciousness. Therefore, as much as every aspect of the earth is in service to you, you are in service to every aspect of the earth itself. The greater your understanding, the greater your power becomes as humans on earth, the greater your responsibility is. The responsibility to take care of this place that has taken care of you, to take care of the ecosystems that have taken care of you, to give to the ecosystems that have given you a natural, a sacred exchange. You are given both the responsibility and the opportunity to display the state and the maturation of your consciousness by your actions. How will you move through this earth? What level of awareness of your actions and its consequences will you carry forward? How will you hold this earth and all living beings on earth? How will you share? How will you receive? How will you return? The earth has and has given more than there is requirements for all living beings. There is and still will be plenty for all living beings to receive. Therefore, scarcity is an element of the mind, is an element of a societal construct. Earth will provide with abundance. And you will receive with grace. When understanding, when perceiving, when returning to the earth, trusting the intrinsic intelligence of this design, you will recognize that this design truly takes care of you. takes care of life, and therefore is a life-enabling design. You may, with the advancements of technological nature, have increased your comforts, nuances of this design to fit your need incrementally. Some of these adjustments you have made of your environment and to your lives have had great cost to other life, to other ecosystems, to the fine balance of the exchange that is consistently present. It is time to recognize the impact you hold on this earth. It is time to recognize the impact that you can have by making choices of a different kind. Yet the choices are always yours and will be yours to make. The choices will be fueled by your awareness, your conscious awareness, and your creations will be fueled by this expanded state of consciousness. A maturing consciousness in an individual can affect the collective. Therefore, it is you that walks this path as an example. You become the inspiration for change. Not by convincing others to live or act like you, not by diminishing another's experience, yet by living your truth, by living your awareness. And your truth and awareness, if truly aligned, will fuel your well-being, your natural state of happiness, your natural state of abundance, your natural state of love. This will always be the greatest inspiration for all other humans in their choices to come, in their journeys to be happy. Thank you for listening to our words. I'm here with a really close friend of mine, Alnoor Ladha. And Alnoor and I have known each other for probably close to 10 years. And, Alnoor is an activist, he's a writer, he's a community creator. Alnoor is also the co-founder, co-steward, and partner of the organization called Tierra Valiente, Brave Earth, here in Costa Rica. And it is, in some ways, a post-capitalistic community structure that is infusing the ideology of where society could be going in terms of spiritual stewardship of the land, as well as living with the land in co-creation and coexistence. And so, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure.
So that our community gets to know you.
You know, in a sort of human narrative, I was born in Vancouver, similar to you, socialized in the global north, in the empire. And my parents were also immigrants from East Africa. We come from a Sufi tribe called the Fatimids, sometimes called the Assassin Order. or the Hashasin.
Would you say that there is currently a spiritual awakening happening within humanity? Maybe, in my perspective, maybe even an unprecedented level of awakening with the sheer size of humans that currently exist on Earth, and a critical pivot point of the impact of our actions having a detrimental effect on all living beings, including humans themselves. The Earth will continue.
Mm-hmm.
She will just, shake us off and start anew, if it so be.
Right.
The question is, if there is a race between consciousness evolving and maturing versus the self-destructive nature of humanity, how is this race run, and how does the individual play a role in all of this?
Mm-hmm. That's a powerful and critical question, and central to this moment, right? Because we're at the crossroads, but we intuitively know and feel something bigger is happening. The one thing to say about that is there a spike in consciousness? Of course, on one level that's true. On another level, there's a bifurcation happening, right? And it feels like light and dark are expanding both almost in equal proportion.
Right. The polarization is stronger than ever.
Stronger than ever. So then the question is, well, where are we in that broader context? There's actually people benefiting actively from the destruction of the planet. And to hold those two truths non-dualistically is part of spiritual political praxis.
Right. And how does this sensitivity play along with not necessarily being, in a world of shame and blame and guilting, right?
Right.
And carrying that
Right.
as an energy with us.
Right. Right.
Considering our lineages, and considering that if you go back in anyone's lineage 2-3 generations, or even like one generation back, there is rape and pillage and murder, right?
Yeah. And so this is where I think the spiritual practice and the spiritual political praxis is so important, because one of the key tenets of all spiritual political praxis is non-dualistic thought, right? Advaita.
Yeah.
Being able to hold seemingly conflicting worldviews.
Right. Now that's a heavy burden to live with for the current generation, right? And if you're awakening to this truth, it could be very depressive, right?
Yeah.
And also, aside from the personal, emotional, mental burden that we carry maybe the understanding of like, well, what is my individual power in all of this? Like, how could I possibly make a difference?
Right.
Commemorating a day like this as like Earth Day. Where does it start for me? Like, aside from, being more a clear student of the culture that we are in, right? And also having a proper spiritual practice that leads us towards a greater understanding of non-separation and non-duality, and being able to hold multiple perspectives at the same time, even paradoxical, controversial perspectives at the same time in our consciousness, right? And so there is an element of I practice and therefore change happens. And then there's an element of change is the action that results from the change that's happening within through the practice. Right. It's like my actions change naturally, my behaviors change, my habits change. The way I walk through the world changes. Right. So if you were to add to this perspective that you shared in terms of its relation to how do we live on Earth, and what does change look like from your perspective, considering the quote-unquote mess that we're in as humanity, and the dying species, the strong polarization, and therefore almost imminent conflict, that is the conflict energy that's in the field that we're sitting with every day, right? how do we, first of all, digest all of this, process it, and also hold a non-dual perspective without being fueled with fear and anger and rage and our own destructive thoughts.
So everyone's desire to acquire more and be more comfortable. And so why I start with be a good student of the culture, right? If we really understand the impoverishment of the culture, if we really understood the consequence of our way of life, there would already be a shift. And that shift is happening, right? So your question of like, well, how do we not move into paralysis or collapse or grief or despair? And what I would say is that may be part of the process. We don't want to amputate any emotion, but the key is, well, where are you operating from when you're making those decisions? So if the first step is really understand the impoverishment of our times, understand how our way of living is actively contributing to this, right? Be a good student of the culture. The second is non-dualistic thought and political spiritual praxis is exactly that. It is practice, right? We've atrophied our muscles because we have been addicted to certainty and control and domination. And so that requires what I would move to the third, which is deconditioning, decolonization practices. Actively disinvesting from the life-destroying machinery of capitalism and redirecting this sort of false ambition of material acquisition into, let's say, karmic ambition, right? The goal of all mystical traditions and indigenous traditions is to transcend subject-object, to get to a state of consciousness where there is no other. And it doesn't matter how you get there, but it's being in that active practice and knowing why you're doing it.
Right. And in some ways, that is also the premise why in our work, the guides have shared that is the reason why they're interfering and assisting,
Right.
is because it is a time where we are going to need the most amount of support to find our alignment, find our path to a greater center, and therefore affect change.
Right.
They don't tell us how we're going to fix our problems.
Right.
They say that's yours because it is also part of your evolutionary process to get to that place. But what we're going to assist you with is to expanding in your consciousness so you can see more, you can understand more, you can feel more to find a new center, a new alignment from which you operate.
Right.
And that is in some ways the key.
And just to add to that, so, okay, what does this look like in practice, right? When I sit at my altar in the morning and do my morning meditation and prayer, I'm always asking, like, how do I be in deeper service to the unfolding of consciousness, to the mother? Help me shift my ontology so I could see with the lens of interbeing. I can see with the lens of animism. I can see with the lens of relationality. I can see the world as more territorial, molecular, assemblage-like, rhizomatic. And with that shifting perspective and that request for help, then what I need to do now just gets given to me.
Yeah, it's, what has shifted for me in my practice and in my work with the guides was really that understanding that I could be both operating as a dualistic being, because we are in a dualistic structure from which we experience reality.
Mm-hmm.
But the part of our consciousness that's non-dualistic is underdeveloped and undertrained. But it is capable of significantly more. It is capable of holding so much more, which also increases the potential for the sense of love, a sense of unconditional love that we can hold within our being, which also goes back to unification rather than separation, right? And so the more people can hold that, the field automatically starts to shift. And maybe with that, a wave of change can move through society, through humanity, And I do have great trust that with that kind of change, also the shift in leadership will come.
Right.
The shift in decisions and solutions that we implement will come. The
Right.
way we live our relation with the earth
Right.
will come.
Right.
So even though looking at the news, we may have a very dire perspective of the current reality, and it may actually be very dire. There's no denying in that. But there is also a sense of, yes, despite that, what type of energy do you hold for the possibility
Right.
that it brings?
Right.
And is the challenge your spiritual practice, right? Am I allowing the challenge to be taking me down or fueling me
Right.
to bring something into the world that is even greater than the challenge
Right.
itself? Well, thank you, brother.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
for
you for
having
your
me.
perspective, and thank you for your being and for the role that you play in your communities and society and humanity's consciousness evolution. I look forward to more of these kind of conversations in the future.
Likewise, shukran.
Thanks for tuning in for our Sacred Earth event. I have here with me Kumu Ramsey from the Hawaiian Nation. It is a true pleasure and honor to have you as an elder, as a representative of the Hawaiian culture. And you have been through many life experiences and journeys yourself. And as you said, eldership is not defined by age, but by experiences and the depth of those realizations. Do you want to share a little bit about yourself and what does it mean to be a Kumu and what kind of responsibility is that?
Well, first of all, thank you for this opportunity to be here with you and with your ohana, your family, to share some of these thoughts and experiences. As a kumu, that term refers to a resource, a teacher, a professor in the contemporary spaces. But kumu, by definition and the use of the spiritual language, olelo, as we say, alola Hawaii. Within the word kumu is the spiritual element of the human spirit, that you, which represents a spirit that descends, spends some time, and returns. Sorry, long answer to a short question.
Beautiful. Thank you for taking me on these journeys when you share your wisdom. And I had mentioned to you earlier that I'd been to Hawaii myself and experienced the beauty of the land and beauty of the people, beauty of the culture, and also deep connection with spirit. And a lot of our community are in communion with spirit and with the earth. And I know that is in your culture, it's a natural aspect of existence.
Yes.
Being in communion with the land, with the ancestors, and with the spirits. Right? And in our more Western culture, we've forgotten that. We've kind of disconnected. A lot of people are suffering from that separation to spirit, from that separation to land, to the earth. And some are doing their best to return and reclaim what they have forgotten. And as someone who's been born into that kind of culture, like what kind of advice can you give for people seeking that type of communion with spirit and with land to better serve her, to better serve the ecosystems that exist?
Right. I think first and foremost, it's acknowledging that we're all indigenous to planet Earth, which I would refer to as an island Earth. And if that's the case, then we're all islanders. Some of us, however, have forgotten our indigeneity. We've forgotten our relationship with Mother, and now are being reminded by those that have remembered that particular gift that we came to the planet with, to this island, to take care of the forest, to take care of the ocean, to take care of the mountains and the deserts, whatever that might be. It doesn't make one better than the other. It just means that we have a shared responsibility to Mother.
Right.
Now, many of us have forgotten because we're disconnected and separated from Mother. And now we're trying to find our way back. So if that's the case, then how do we reconnect to Source, an internal source? and acknowledge that these externalities are not a reflection of what and who we really are. At the same time, acknowledging that everything is a mirror. And if we don't like what we see outside, we have to ask ourselves, what did I just put in front of this mirror? Right? And if I don't like what I see, then I need to start changing what I've put in front of the mirror. Okay? So the question is always, what is it about me? What did I bring to the situation that has created this tension that I'm now feeling? Right?
Thank you. That's quite a profound share. Would you say that spiritual practice is a way for people to connect more deeply with themselves, with Source, with the earth, and with a true sense of deeper knowing, not necessarily understanding, but really an embrace of the mystical nature of existence?
I think it's important that we acknowledge we're spirits engaged in a physical experience.
Yes. Thank you.
Once we understand that, then everything we just talked about is a conversation of physics. Right? The solutions are a conversation of spirit. So the technology of Native people, especially Kanaka Maoli, is that we have a language which we refer to as Olelo Hawaii, which is a spiritual language. I'm not speaking words, I'm speaking spirit. So the plant life, the animal life, the spirit life, we're communing with that energy. To utter the sound of ah is to call in the creative energy. To utter the sound of E, the letter I, is to call in the water. When I bring those two sounds together, I am now calling in the food, because ah and E, fire and water, is a creation of steam, and steam is a form of energy. You and I take our energy from I, from food. We share energy by feeding I to others. And when we stop communing, then we force communication. I will find words to impose upon or to elicit certain behaviors in relationships. Communicating and communing are two different things, but that's the root in them, is to commune. And I think that's a really important part. That's where spirituality happens. So if we keep trying to tinker with the physical things, we're ignoring our true identity of spirit, of being spirit. And therefore, there isn't anything that manifests physically that doesn't first come through an etheric layer or filter. Right. And if we're not changing that filter, we're just going to get more of the same.
And only then can our actions be holding that energy of Source, or of our deepest connection that we can hold as humans.
Yes. And recognize that we're actually devolved from that spirit into the physical. If you subscribe to any of that, then we have to look at the truth behind that lived experience, which is, as a spirit being, like the electricity in any of these lights, there is no color to electricity. But that yellow bulb, blue bulb, and red bulb is the personality of that electricity that's running through it. So the spirit in you is the spirit in me. But I'm coloring it with my personality. And so I'm getting to see the personality of that spirit through you, but not make the mistake of defining the spirit by the personality. Right? So it's understanding that that spirit runs through all things. And when I can finally get back to that, when we're talking, it's not you to Kumu, it's I to I. Right? Meaning the divine in you is communicating with the divine in me. The personality disappears. Right? That is the highest order. If we can get back to that, then I don't require words anymore, because you hear my thoughts. You feel my feelings, because we now become one again. We have returned home to that space that we all came from in the first place. You see? But as long as we edify this individuality, the me, rather than the we, then we are going to continue experiencing these challenges that are in the world of physics. And we keep looking to the science of physics to heal the injuries of spirit.
Well, it's really fascinating because you give such a nuanced and different flavor in your words and in your energy to what we all are learning as well in our practices. And it's very present. There's a major overlap in what you say and what we are receiving from spirit and some of these channelings. And I feel, something as insignificant as Earth Day is a one single day to honor Earth seems a little bit absurd. Because it just every day is Earth Day, right? It still gives us an opportunity to meet someone like you and for the community to understand a little bit more about the Hawaiian perspective of connecting with spirit and land and ancestry and oneself on the journey of evolution and maturation from which solutions emerge, from which co-creation emerges.
Well, I would thank you for that, first of all. But I think it's important that we acknowledge that wherever we come from, we each have that gift. We just need to reconnect to that. I just happen to be privileged to have been guided by elders who didn't forget or got to the point where they realized now is the time to share this or take it with us. And I think every community has those. So if there's any recommendation to anyone out there now, is if there's an elder, spend time with them, support them, be that vessel that they can pour their knowledge and wisdom in. I like to say, they saw an empty coconut and chose to fill it. And it wasn't cracked at the time, so it was able to retain something. But it then becomes the responsibility of the coconut to empty and to continue passing that on. And in that emptying, creating the new opportunity for more information to be shared, right? And so that's the reciprocity agreement, which we call aloha, of giving and receiving. The more I give out, the more comes back in, creating flow. But you can't hoard it. And I think many people become fearful that I'm going to lose this information. But that's only if it's coming from you rather than through you. Okay? That's spirit.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Kumu Ramsey, it's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure as well.
Thank you for gifting us with your presence and your wisdom.
No, thank you for the gift of time. And
I'm sure a lot of our people from our community will be receiving this message in the ways they will receive it and in the ways it will come through.
Wonderful.
Not just by the words, but by the energy and the emotion that's behind it.
Thank you. Yeah. And I would say in the spirit of aloha and ho'oponopono, that my ancestors and I ask forgiveness from you and your ancestors for anything that we may have done and created the pilikia, the trouble, the tensions that may be in your life that brought us together today. Please forgive us. But in reciprocity of aloha and ho'oponopono, my ancestors and I forgive you and your ancestors for whatever it is done that created the conditions in our lives that brought us on this path so that we could sit here today, so that we can release all of that, so that our descendants can meet in openness, with love, and with aloha. And that we've erased all of those things that serve as barriers and obstacles to our moving forward, collectively, as one. So on behalf of my ancestors and my descendants, thank you for allowing me to be here to share this.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank
Blessings.
you. Thank you. Aloha to all.
Thank you all. See you soon.
Thank you, Asil, Alnoor, and Kumu. And thank you, everyone, for joining this session with us. We'll be taking a 10-minute break, and we'll see you back here for a meditation with two of our dear ambassadors, Marty and Lauren. Both have guided practices within Evolution 1, as well as their own individual communities, and are deeply committed to this work, along with being truly incredible human beings. We'll also be sharing an exciting sacred earthwork opportunity for you at the end. So we'll see you back here in 10 minutes.
Hello, everyone. We are Marty and Lauren, ambassadors of Evolution One. We will guide you into a meditation of deep alignment and presence today. Over the course of this practice, you will hear both our voices guiding you. Marty, you want to say hello?
Yes, my name is Marty, also an ambassador for Evolution One. So, for this special day, we're going to guide you to plant a seed of intention for the earth. Although your vision may be individual, we will bring these seeds together in a co-created space or a field of intention. It will be particularly potent as there are so many of us around the world today focused because it's Earth Day. Our intention is to unite our hearts with Earth's consciousness and amplify her healing wisdom for the benefit of all humanity and all sentient beings. So there's nothing much for you to do, certainly nothing to think about. Simply follow our guidance here and enjoy the journey to remembering your connection with Mother Earth. Lauren?
Thank you, Marty. I invite you all now to settle into your comfortable seated position and close the eyes. And from here, I invite you to deepen your breath, expand the inhale and the exhale. Continue this expanded breath and allow the body to relax deeper into this present moment, here and now. Follow the breath into the body. Allow the belly to expand on the in-breath. And as you do, feel the ribs expand, all the muscles there making space for the breath. Exhale and observe the breath leaving the body. As you continue this deep breathing, note any sensations in the body. Are there any areas of ease in this moment? Any areas of tension? No judgment of good or bad, just simply taking note of what is in this moment now. And next, I invite you to send the breath to areas where the body might be holding tension. Send that inhale breath with love. It's with the same unconditional love the earth holds for each of us. Send that love to yourselves now, releasing any tensions in the body. And as you're ready, you can release the deep inhales and exhales and return to your natural breath. And simply observe the breath in its natural flow. And feel into your relaxed physical being. With our bodies at ease, we now invite our minds to quiet. Allow any thoughts that emerge to just pass by like clouds in the sky. Just a neutral observation of those thoughts, those gentle and soft clouds passing by. And allow now an inner silence to emerge and expand within you. And we expand now this silence, this calm to our heart center. Sense into this expansion in the heart center. And here we invite any feelings to settle and calm. And in this calm and this quiet, we settle deeper into the present moment. Allow whatever your day has been to this point to fall away. And we invite the far past to fall away as well. And likewise, whatever it is you might have after this shared time together can also drop away. Allow all of that that drops away to make space for deeper presence here and now. And we simply observe this present moment like a favorite, beloved tree. You can see yourself deeply rooted into this moment now. Leaves are stilled. The trunk is strong. The roots are deep into the earth. Simply here and present. We move into a deeper alignment of all parts of our being. You can envision a harmonious flow, flowing freely throughout your relaxed physical body, your calmed heart center, and your quieted mind. Feel into this flow. And bring this harmonious flow to all aspects of your energetic, spiritual construct. Take a moment here to observe the sense of harmony and balance as all parts of yourself come together, aligned in this present moment in all its potential.
And in this expanded space of pure potential and connected to the field, imagine as you breathe You are breathing in the essence of the earth. On the exhale, simply sending your love back to her. Bringing your attention now to the points where your body touches your seat, be it the floor, a chair, or maybe even the earth herself. And feel for the support beneath you. And if you will now, visualize roots extending from the soles of your feet deep, deep into the earth. With each breath, feel the roots getting stronger, going deeper through all of her layers, all the way to her core. And as this connection takes place, you begin to feel and sense her energy. Feel her warmth, her compassion, her beautiful, nurturing presence. And you allow your awareness to continue to expand beyond these roots, beyond your body. You become part of our Mother Earth's web of consciousness. Allowing her energy to move and flow through your body from the bottom of your feet. The energy moves upwards, filling every cell. You become full with Earth's loving, grounding presence, feeling her energy stabilize your heart, aligning your emotions, stilling your mind, pure peace and quiet. as she anchors you into this present moment. In this expanded state, we listen, not with our ears, but with our hearts. What does Mother Earth wish to share with you? Feel her transmission, personal to you. Keep this connection with our great mother alive. Feel her embracing you. Feel her love, her strength, her patience, her presence. Imagine her saying to you, "You are my child, and I am always here for you." And we can say back to her, "How can I be in deeper service to you?" With gratitude, we thank her for all of her gifts, knowing that she will always provide with abundance. This is a day of remembering our natural connection with Mother Earth, remembering every day is Earth Day.
In this shared moment of alignment of ourselves and the earth, we have created a field. This can be envisioned as an energetic sphere. Take a moment to feel into this shared container. Simply invite an awareness. Fully rooted in this present moment, in this co-created space, there is immense potential for creation. What is it you would like to see created in this world for our earth, for humanity? What do you want to bring forth in this world? What do you want to see grow and expand? What is it you want to see created? Just allow for this to come forth. No judgment on what it is that arises. Simply allow for this vision to expand in your heart space. Allow it to grow. Vision it. Really see it with your full being. And as you do, feel it with your full being. This incredible vision arising from your heart into our shared space. Allow your individual vision to take its fullest form. As you're ready, I invite you to bring forth your vision, this seed for the future, into our shared field now. With a gentle intention, release that seed to be planted in the center of our field, the center of this energetic space we all share in this moment. Witness your intention as it expands, as it's planted here, as it becomes. And you can also sense into all the intentions sent forth today to be planted. Feel into the energy of these creations, the love of these creations we all share now. In your own mind or out loud, please repeat the following. We intend collectively for these planted seeds to take form, nourished by the love of creation, flowing amongst us and the earth. We allow now for these beautiful seeds to expand and grow, and simply feel into what we are creating together with the earth and for the earth. In your own time, we welcome you back from this experience. When you're ready, you can perhaps deepen the breath, bring some movement into your body. As you do, as you come back, we invite you to bring with you this unity with Earth's consciousness. And bring with you, carry in your heart, this co-creation we have shared today. Bring it forward into your day, into your interactions with others, with the earth, and with yourself. With deep, deep gratitude, we thank you for joining us. And we now send you back to Crystal.
Thank you, Marty and Lauren. And thank you to all of those who have been trained to open this energetic field and hold the space. Thank you to everyone who joined us for the celebration of Earth Day. We hope this experience today inspired you to continue exploring with us. As a continuation of honoring our sacred connection with Mother Earth, we're excited to announce that our Mexico expedition is now also available for registration online, in addition to in person. This expedition will take place in June, and now you have 2 ways to join the adventure. Together, we will explore Mexico's powerful legacy through its most sacred sites and natural wonders. From the ancient pyramids of Chichen Itza to the sacred cenotes of Tulum, the Yucatan Peninsula holds some of the Earth's most profound, energetic, and spiritual sites. You can join us to experience this journey in person or through your consciousness in a collective field. We're thrilled to continue this important work with the Earth's energetic grid, a project that started in Guatemala and Belize and is now in Mexico this June. We'll put sign-up links in the chat for you now to join us for this Mexico expedition. Thank you again for being here with us today, and we look forward to seeing you very soon. Until then, stay well, keep shining your light.